Well, hello, colleagues and students. I hope you are doing well, as today is April 6th, and I'm greeting you here from my office and offering my weekly communications to you. Lots of things to talk about, so I'll apologize in advance if I'm speaking too fast, but I'm going to try and get several things in at one time. First of all, let me start off by saying welcome. Good to see you here. I know as we move into this part of the semester, there tends to be a more frenzied pace around certain issues that are happening. So I do know that within our governance system, we're having deep conversations about our alternative work policy. I want to thank everyone for your contributions to that. I do know that our Human Resources Director and our Provost are already planning to bring another set of proposed revisions to that to my executive team for review. So I thank you for that. This is what good policy work looks like. It takes time, and I welcome the feedback. Contrary to what some of the rumor mill may be, there is no final decision on any of the policy. We're in the process of iterating and ideating. So I thank you all for being an active part of that. Related to that is also our budget. We're trying to work on right now, looking at what the revenue projections are, thinking deliberately about expenditures in that, and most importantly, making decisions that are responsive to that. I've seen the draft budget that were prepared by the vice presidents that have gone out to the executive budget committee. Looking forward to receiving that group's feedback, I believe, later on this week. I'm out next week on vacation, which I'm very excited about, but when I come back, I'll be prepared to sit down and look at the feedback that has come from the various groups within the organizations represented on that executive committee. There are hard decisions to be made, and there's some of those that I'm going to be very clear about how and why they were made, and more importantly, we're preparing communication. So I want to get into a habit that the college community hears from me about the budget for the new fiscal year. So we're going to have something that are probably prepared to go out in May, middle of May, give or take, before commencement maybe, so that we can have a clear recognition of what's going to be a part of the FY23 budget. With that, I'm continuing to have a substantial number of interactions with members of the college community, both faculty, staff, and students, but also external members of our community. Internally, I met with students in our Nepantla program, as well as a briefing by the program's leadership. I would tell you, with those students, we laughed and cried together, and it was a powerful opportunity for me to even become more connected about how and why we do our work here at Nevada State. Those students are simply glorious, and they had alums come back and talk to me about the value of that. And what I'm wanting to see is this program be replicated in other spaces and places. So as I look at what we have done with Nepantla, how do we take our best learnings to continue to watch and help our Sankofa program grow? As we think about that, how do we look at the learnings and growings from Nepantla and Sankofa to our new FAME program that's looking at African American male excellence and participation in higher education? How do we look at and name that in other student groups that we know need attention and focus? So I want to thank those students for yet again changing my life and more thoughtfully helping me remember why and how we do this work. As always, grateful to Ms. Phoebe for my opportunity with our classified chair, who always walks in with the best agenda, very clear about what needs to be done, and also leaves me with my to-do list, and also is willing to take a to-do list back. So I thank you, Ms. Phoebe, for that. I had the opportunity to attend and speak at our Women's History Month leadership luncheon. I just got to say, I am never following Dr. Shatria anymore. She is phenomenal, and she delivered an excellent speech. So in hindsight, next time I'll just do a welcome, and we can continue to have her be the keynote speaker there. I'm moving into a number of my skip level meetings. I want to thank all of you who've taken to those. These are small, intimate conversations that focus on two movements. One, feedback and reaction to the 100-day report, getting people's reactions to that. And then secondly, other things I need to know. And it's been, I think, a remarkable opportunity for me to have much more intimate conversations with people about the college community, and I really am grateful for that. I had a meeting. I invited myself to a meeting and then bought them lunch because I thought it was important to have our federal federal community grants project conversations, group of our deans and others who come together to talk about how we can go and work with our federal delegation. I asked them to talk about what their thinking is with that, because that timeline is very quick. I also met with Adam Garcia with our university police services, and then of course attended the special meeting of the Board of Regents, which ended last week. Externally, I had the privilege of meeting with the new executive director or CEO, I believe, Tina Quigley of the LVGA, and also board chair Betsy Fretwell. Phenomenal sets of women with a clear vision, but also thoughtful about how and receptive to how higher education is a part of the conversation around economic development. Also spent time with our CCSD superintendent, Jesus Jara, and the mayor, talking about a number of issues, Mayor of Henderson, Deborah March. I also spent time again with the superintendent and a group of the college presidents, and also a number of our folks related to workforce development, which we'll talk more about next week. I also had a series of community meetings with some of our elected officials, other stakeholders, and then also spent time with Mexican consulate leadership there and Senator Dundero Loop. Very grateful to them for taking the time to talk with me, and then attended the city of North Las Vegas, their State of the City. I have to tell you, it was quite impressive to see what they have done in terms of really changing the narrative about that municipality, but more importantly, their belief about what we can do in the future together. So I'm very excited about that. Couple observations I'll make to you. None of you will be surprised for this. As we continue to think about how we serve the new majority, I want us to be very deliberate in embracing that, all components of that, and thinking about how all of these things fit together. We are an institution that is at its best when we are having all the cylinders work in one direction to produce the outcomes. And as we move toward commencement, which is really the visible manifestation of our mission, our job is to make sure our students who spent 4, 5, 6, 2 or 3 years with us, that they're able to have a connected lived experience here, and that we are constantly thinking about how we redefine ourselves to best meet them. As you're thinking about your role and space in that, and I'm inviting all of us to carry the water on this, I think we have to be thinking also about how bold and deliberate we have to be in these spaces. In the midst of that, self-care and mental health. You all heard me mention a moment ago, I'm taking some leave next week. I would tell you, actually about this time last year until now has been a rapid level of just a pace for me and my family. So we're taking some time off. My son is on spring break, and I'm going to go someplace and vegetate and be at one with myself and my family and a couple of good friends. And I'm hopeful that you're going to take some time to do that. I'm also telling my people, get your holiday plans in for the summer, your leave. I do not want to hear about people carrying over leave. That's a part of us taking care of ourselves so that we can actualize this mission. I had a great conversation with some of our colleagues in the business area, and they were quite glorious in their belief about the dedication they have to this mission and the work they do, and know how essential they are. Because we don't talk about the sexy stuff of accounting and bookkeeping and procurement, but we know if they don't do their job, guess what? The institution suffers. But they were all worried about when they're going to take time off. And I said, that is not a worry that we need to be having. The college will be here, and we need to be prepared to help people be able to show up in their best selves. So take your leave and take your time and do that. Let me end with gratitude. I'm amazed by this. So I don't know about you all, but people say that graduation and commencement is their favorite time of the year. And I share in that, because it, again, is this idea of actually seeing that the investments and the empowerment and the role that we play in the lives of our students, that here they are walking across the stage with their family and celebrating their academic achievement. So we have over 925 folks who are scheduled to graduate. Now, they all may not walk across the stage, but 925 students graduating from Nevada State in the class of 2022 is amazing. I think there'll also be a couple other classes that may be joining in. But what I would tell you about that is the outcomes. So on May 7th, we will be in the Dollar Loan Center here in Henderson. And what you will see is that we have approximately right now 412 nurses who are graduating, 155 educators, new teachers stepping into the space, and over 350 liberal arts and science graduates. I want to keep in mind that what we know about this, and this is why, because y'all know a couple of you saying a hashtag, I'm saying Nevada State is so relevant right now. We are so essential because 80% or more of our graduates stay right here in the Valley. So when we start talking about our relevance, when we start talking about how essential we are to the future of this region, when we think about the potency of this mission, think about these students that we get to see, and think about also those students who will be graduating in our master's program in speech language pathology. Think about the fact that each and every one of you are working so hard on behalf of these students, that we are making a difference in their lives. Workforce development is what we do. We do economic development. We do talent development. We are doing professional learning. Whatever makes you feel good to say, we are essential to this region. I hope that you all know that, because I know it for sure. You can see I got a little pumped up about this today. But more importantly, I hope that you continue to take care of yourselves, continue to be grateful as we're in the midst of all of this crazy. I know that we are in this together. I hope you all are doing well. Take care and be well.